get it.
Yo, what's good, everybody? This is the Localz Only podcast right here. We got a very special guest all the way from San Jose. We got the world famous Money B. Give it up, give it up. What's good, B?
What's going on, Devious? How you doing, my brother? Good to see you, man. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Good to see you, man. I'm good. Just right here chilling, out here in Pacoima. You already know, representing. But yeah, man.
That's right. It was hard to get on here with you. I don't know what's going on with the internet today, but
yeah, it's tripping. Yeah, it's been a little mission to get this started, but we here now. We're gonna talk a little history, chop it up. And
let everybody know I'm a father, so I'm here with little kids, say, so if you guys hear yelling and screaming or daddy, I need this, that's what Money B does. Take care of his kids while that work right.
That's right. That's right. No, same with Kid Boogie right now. He has daddy duties as well, so he's making sure to handle that. You already know that comes first. So yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on. Especially, I know you got the kids right there. Taking care of them, to just drop some history and knowledge for these people out there, the next generation. So yeah,
yes, sir.
We'll get started. Like, where you originally from? Where you originally from? Where were you born? And we'll get started from there.
All right. Well, like you guys already know, my name's Brian Moreno, a.k.a. Money B. I am originally from San Jose, California, born and raised on the east side and the west side of San Jose.
That's right. All right. So, growing up, and this is a question I like to ask all, especially people that I consider Chicanos and stuff. So growing up, what did you identify as, like American, Mexican, or Chicano, or Latino?
Well, growing up in the culture, you see your parents and your cousins and your uncles and aunts, your tios and tias living life. So basically, I would say Chicano culture, Chicano, Mexican American.
Word. And would you because a lot of people don't, they get it a little misunderstood, like what that word really means, so for you, what is it to be Chicano? Like, what is a Chicano for you?
A Chicano for me is just somebody born in the United States, but he's brown, he's Mexican. Like, for instance, born in Mexico, you're Mexican. I'm Mexican as well. I'm just Mexican American. I didn't learn fluent Spanish. I have my father speaks Spanish very well. My mom didn't speak Spanish, but her parents did. And my grandparents fluently. That's all they would speak. So I had a mixture of both. So, but basically, it's just Chicano. We're Mexican. My dad's side was full Mexican culture. Rancheros, the whole mariachis, so everything. That's just how we grew up. Yeah. On my mom's side, it would be more. Actually, it was both, but I see a little bit more or less on either side. And my mom's side was a lot of the Chicano culture, because I had my aunt who was going to college at the time, I believe, and she would do a lot of schooling on the Chicano culture, the Cesar Chavez movement and all that. So I kind of seen and then my uncles were all into lowriders when that first started. They were doing, but at the same time, it's crazy because I know we're going to go deep in this stuff, but yeah, it makes me think right there, as you ask these questions. Yeah, I'm Chicano, but every party we had, all you heard was funk music. You know what I'm saying? All you heard was, so the majority was brown Mexicans, Chicanos, and at these parties they're playing Freak Out and James Brown, all these songs, and Flashlight, and people are grooving. You know what I'm saying? They're grooving and doing the bump and everything. So yeah, Chicano culture, but mixed with everything else, man. Everything was all one with us.
That's super dope. And were your parents born here, or were they born here?
Yeah. My parents were born San Jose as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's dope. Yeah, because a lot of people too, like they get that word Chicano, Chicana a little confused and mixed up. And I know people who are outside of the culture, it's a little hard for them to understand like what it is and stuff. And just to give go ahead.
I would say it would be like a Mexican American in the struggle. You know what I'm saying? When I say struggle, as me as a kid, I see my parents struggling. They buy us the clothes, but they're going to be a big bill on their credit card. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean we had the money. I learned later that my mom just did what we could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get them regardless, but they're going to wear these Dickies and khakis. And, when I say that, that's our Chicano culture was always wearing the khakis. And, we'd have buckles with our little initial on it, cholo. We call them cholo belts. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff, man. Brims and everything. As 11, 12-year-old kid out there with a brim on, trying to stand all with a posture, trying to be cool. Because I didn't know where I was going at one time. I knew it was popping and gang banging cholos. So I was already in the culture. So I'm like, where am I going with this? So it was kind of weird at one time.
No, and that's what's beautiful about the word and that the culture is that we all have our own definition for it in a sense, but it all kind of is very similar. And just to give some history on the word, it started off as a derogatory term towards Mexican Americans, from Mexicans, right? Because growing up here, there's people like yourself who are second or third generation American who don't necessarily identify as like a Mexican from Mexico, but they also don't identify as an American, right? What society sees as American. So what we did in the 60s and 70s is that we took that term and we started rocking it with pride. And because a Mexicano, that's how we call each other in our language. They would call us Chicanos, like Chico, like miniature Mexicanos, and that's kind of how, the word was created, right? Like Chicano, like
that also takes you back to, let's say, for instance, we want to say racism. Mm-hmm. Our own racism. All cultures have racism in between their own people, and nobody speaks on that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. But for instance, like you said, we would say, "Oh, wait, were they calling us? Or we're Mexican too? We're not. We weren't born in Mexico." You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're. At the same time, we are them, but we're not them. It's a little bit of a confrontation. You know what I'm saying?
It's very hard, and I think a lot of the time, especially in today's society, they're trying to separate so many of us to cause confusion within us that grow up in these same neighborhoods, regardless of color. And it's very similar to what people see as the African American struggle. For us, it's a little bit different because the country, or for most of us, the origin, the border's 2 hours away, right? Opposed to across a whole ocean. So it's a little bit more home when, you have family members or you have people from Mexico who are like, oh, you're not Mexican, you're like the whitewashed version or whatever term they want to use, right? And that's how really the word Chicano came about, and we really took it in the 60s and 70s due to the Chicano moratorium, which is something that I'd recommend a lot of people look at.
Yeah. We also have San Jose now, a little museum. I haven't been there, but one of the youngsters, Playboy Mays, was telling me, hey, B, they have a Chicano culture thing, like a museum in San Jose downtown. It has like the lowriders when it started out in San Jose that year. They did the magazine out there, and it shows popping clips of, all kinds of old Chicano stuff, that they did out here. I was like, wow, really? Because, there's some good things in there.
No, man, San Jose is a place with a lot of history, especially within the Chicano culture and movement, as East LA is. So it's crazy, the connection, right? Especially because we'll get into it a little bit later as well. Within the gangs and within the conflict of our own race, there's this North and South war, right? We'll get into that, but there's a link between us, and a lot of our family members are in these two locations. And
exactly,
so pretty much in the 60s and 70s, we took that on, and that's really when you started growing, coming up. That's when you came up during the height of the Chicano movement. So as a Chicano in San Jose, what type of neighborhood were you raised in? Were you raised in like a Chicano neighborhood, or was it a very mixed, diverse neighborhood?
I would say it was. See, here's the thing. In the beginning, I would say it was mixed because coming from our grandparents, it would be more Chicano, more Mexicanos in their block because we always come from the grandparents. Our parents start there, so that's what we would always go to. as we got older. So it's always going to be the grandparents is our home base. You know what I'm saying?
The default home.
Because we're always going to be. So where my parents come from is basically their mother's and father's house. And that's where we would be after we're born and get older. We're going there. So that's the original place, regardless of where I lived and moved. I was actually in a diverse with my parents as we grew up as kids. Me, my brother and sister, we was living around blacks, Mexicans, Samoans, Filipinos. That's it, just like that. But when I go to my grandma's, that's all Mexican. The whole block's all Mexican.
No, and that's the similarity too of like Los Angeles. Like even though there's so many of us, obviously because this is originally our land and our country, there is, people forget where we live is also where a lot of other minorities live as well, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we do grow up together. We do a lot together. So like growing up and what element do you? Yeah, I like to like even talk about the schools, right? Because some schools are like historic. What elementary and junior high did you go to?
See, that's where my popping popped off. Actually, for me, it would be in elementary, 5th grade. So towards as getting older, I'm seeing even before 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? I'm a guy. Like I said, grew up with the funk. I grew up with them. All the Chicanos. Remember, Chicanos are Mexican Americans, so they're growing up to all the music and all the top music everyone's listening, which is mostly funk and R&B. That's what we grew up on. You know what I'm saying? To top it off, all my Theos, they had afros too. You know what I'm saying? They were rocking afro, bell bottom, leather jackets. So it was similar to the Africano culture, you know. We just kept, we had the slang, the Mexican way we talk, the accent, stuff like that, some of us. But yeah, I would say it was diverse. We grew up a lot around the blacks and Samoans. That was the East Side. The East Side was diverse like that.
So what school did you go to? What school was it?
I went to Stonegate Elementary, and as I got to 5th grade, I started seeing popping, literally popping. So it was one guy named Jerome Campew. What's wrong, baby? Okay, I'll get it right now. 1 second.
Yeah, and so don't worry, because we're editing it. So whenever you need to do something, just do what you gotta do, and we're good. That's right.
So, elementary 5th grade is when we're getting older, we're getting ready to go to junior high now. I'm back in our elementary days. We're already getting pretty much, it was different compared to the guys today. So in 5th grade, still kids, but we're getting old and we're trying to get into athletism and, run and jump and be cool in soccer and baseball. Well, there's one kid just came out, he started popping, and he started front sliding. He front slid all the way to the teacher, blam, turned and got his paperwork, turned back, whap, started backsliding and dropped to a low right and jumped in his seat. I never seen nothing like that. So that was 5th grade at Stonegate Elementary.
Dang. And this person's name was Jerome Campew?
That's Jerome Campew. He's the one that we put a video up of maybe last year. We found it. Maze found it. Maze always finds these gems. Maze didn't even, I grew up around the guy, and the guy's Jerome Campew. He went to the Philippines in 80 or 81 and took 1st place out there. It's on video.
That's so dope. And what was his ethnicity? He was Filipino?
He was Pinoy.
Boy, that's right. Filipinos representing also have rich history within California and especially within the street dance culture.
Yeah.
And that's dope. So 5th grade, you see popping, you see this, dope Filipino just kill it in the classroom. Was it then that you knew that you wanted to do it, or was it other events that led up to you?
That was just I seen it and I was like, yo, that's amazing. That I'm that popper. I'm Money B. So coming from me, I'm telling you, I got my hair standing up. When I seen it and it still stands up, I go, man, what the fuck did you just do, dude? To top it off, he had yellow Converse with checkerboard laces, high tops, laced up bad, with pleated pants all the way around, creased all the way down. So he was geared up. The Filipinos had their own style of the way they dress, and he was looking raw. Went outside, he ended up battling an Africano dude who was another good friend of mine named Daryl Simon. He wasn't really a popper, but a lot of people think, oh, because you're from the old school. No, there's guys that weren't that good at popping back then that will pop up and say, hey, I was there. I'm talking about a guy that was there, but he wasn't a good popper, but he was in a battle with that guy that I thought was really
Yeah, this is the 70s. This is the
Yeah,
70s,
around
right?
79, 8, around
Yeah,
79 probably.
yeah. So this is before
Oh
breaking
yeah,
came out.
oh yeah.
You know,
Wait,
this is before the wave of it
yeah,
becoming, you know, worldwide
getting
and
for me
everything.
because I've
Um,
watched Michael Jackson on video. I mean, on TV, and that I even was
yeah,
going to I went to the Jackson 5 concert. My parents took me to go see the Jackson. So seeing that blew it blew it to the
yeah,
top because Michael Jackson was doing, with his feet sideways in that robot position. When he would
yeah,
boom, boom, I was like, woo, I got to get that. And that was in 74, 75. So,
yeah. That's Jackson 5. This is not for people who might confuse. This isn't Michael Jackson when he's a
no,
solo artist. This is when he was with his brothers and his family,
and
and
when he
he did.
was
They
solo
performed.
in the 75, 74, 1974, remember everybody, he would go solo. This is not today, 1974, 75. Go look up his old videos, and Michael Jackson comes out from all his brothers and does a solo. That.
Little kid. So that's dope because that's what I was gonna ask you. Like before Jerome Campu, did you see it already? Right, like there's Soul Train already going
Soul Train
on.
and all that.
You know, you got the Jackson 5.
That was bare. That wasn't even. I wasn't seeing that yet
Yeah, yeah, because that's like people don't understand. Like back in those days as well.
because I grew
Uh,
up on Soul Train. I grew.
yeah,
I was glued to that channel because I love dancing. I'm that Chicano kid that's gonna be one of those guys. For some reason, I was looking to that. I knew I was because every song that came out that was funk or R&B, it was running through me. So I already knew I was gonna do something with it. I just didn't know when.
yeah, and you know, technology wasn't as available. You know, especially if you're growing up in the hood. Like, there's one TV, and you know, you're lucky when you could, especially as a kid, when you could choose what you want to watch.
Yeah,
Because if your parents are watching something or your grandparents are
yeah,
watching something,
yeah. What
you're
channel?
watching that novella. Yeah, you're watching that novella. And there isn't a bunch of TVs in the house, so you could just go off to the side and watch your favorite show. You
Yeah,
know,
there's
so
only
and
one.
then if you missed the episode, you missed it. You missed it. You know, like
And if you missed it, if you do get lucky to catch it again, remind you, you have to watch it for a whole 30 minutes to an hour to see if you're going to find one little clip. One little clip. That's it. And that was not till Soul Train started coming out locking and robotic, but I was already seeing that with the Jackson 5.
that's dope. That's
Yeah.
super dope. And outside of like your, you know, seeing watching television or watching, you know, yeah, because it was TV where you would see music and bands and stuff like that. And then seeing Jerome, was there anyone in your family that kind of inspired you to that, or like is a dancer, or like was
No. Here's the reason why I became a pauper, because there was no family member doing any of this in my family. Nobody. My older brother. Now here's the good part. He's 2 years older than me. So what? 2 or 3 years older. So that's where the OGs come in, right? But at that time there was no OG. So he would be the OG, not me, really. My brother will. Well, my brother's not going to talk to you guys. He's not going to talk to nobody about popping or strutting. He don't care to do it. So let me give you a little clip, advice and tips on him. He would come into me for some reason, maybe because he see me watching Michael Jackson. I would do the splits, so I'd do a spin, do the splits and come up. So that was like a move back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I do the spin and I would throw my hands like I'm a locker, come up. So that's in the 70s. So he would see me do this kind of stuff. So I guess he knew I was into it. So he would come home from school. Now, just remind you, he only went up to 8th grade. Now, he was doing this before 8th grade. He only went to 8th grade. That was it. Wow. Now, this is before 8th grade. This is like probably his 6th grade, 7th grade. He would come home and say, yo, man, this guy's doing this move. Like, what is it? He goes, it's called popping. They're doing moves like this. Like, really? Every day. Yo, they're doing this move. This guy did the backslide. Really? What is it? What is it? Nobody said moonwalk. They weren't saying any of that. He was doing a backslide. You should have seen it like he was on air. So I'm getting fucking like, what is this, yo? So when I see the guy Jerome in 5th grade do it, I go, this is it. This is it. So I'm already getting, my ears getting tickled daily by my older brother. He's not the popper. He'll come in, the story about him will come in a little while, but he's just kept feeding me that information. He would name names. A guy named Anthony Gill, a guy named Gibby, a guy named Joseph. These are all Chicano dudes, right? I'm like, who are these guys? because in our schools back then, we all hung around together, but at the same time, as you got to a higher school, like an older school, like let's say 6th, 7th grade now, you'll notice everyone start getting in their little cliques. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the Chicano gang over here. You got the East Side Ticketeers over here. You got the punk rockers over here. Now, my first year of 7th grade, or 6th grade, whatever it was, these boys were banging. They're cholos over here. I'm like, yo, and I came all creased down, cholo down, ready to go. But I wanted to pop. I didn't really know because I was coming from 5th grade, just a little bit of beginning popping.
Yeah.
Get to junior high the first day, blew my mind. Poppers were like professionals there.
Yeah, this was probably like 7th grade because back in the day, I remember, because even me coming up, there was still elementaries where they went all the way up to 6th grade.
Yes, that's the confusing part.
Yeah, yeah, and then 7th grade is usually when junior high started. And,
yes.
So already from 5th grade all the way up to you going to junior high, you've been practicing a bit.
Yes.
You start chilling with Jerome.
No, actually, I wasn't chilling with anything. I was doing my own thing at home, just being a kid, but popping by myself.
That's super dope. So then when would you say you got like this when did you know that you had this like talent, right? Because I've seen footage of you as a kid and you was already killing it, so when was that like, I call it the aha moment, right? Where you're just like, oh damn, like this is something.
See, that's where what we're talking about is climbing up. It's climbing. Seeing Jerome, cool. Tried a little bit. Seen Jerome go outside of 5th grade at recess battle Daryl Simon. Daryl Simon, he's Africano. He wasn't that great at it. He was just doing what we seen people doing. So I saw the whole battle. It was not even a battle. Jerome went out, rah, and he would go with his mouth like chewing. I'm like, what is he doing? He's crazy. And he was the type that would have gloves already in 5th grade because he had the Pinoy family would take care of you. Their people took care of them. They made their kids look good.
Yeah.
And he looked good. He had a duck tail, everything. He's all, I'm like, damn, who's this dude? He would go up to his head and go and do stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm in the circle going, yo, and it's only 5th graders there watching. So we're like, oh, this is cool. Daryl Simon didn't really know nothing, but he went on like a tiny arm wave and he went, boom, you remember this? Okay, remember this?
Yeah.
I was there when it started, barely came out. So he goes like, not that good. So he goes, came back up, went around, came back around, slapped him in the face.
What? And then what happened?
The other dude kind of cried. Oh man, that's cheating, man. You can't. Remember, we all grew up together. We're all from 3rd, 4th grade all the way up. So we all know each other really good. But the gangs are coming out, popping's the battle is like intense. They're new at it, but at the same time, it heated up. And he went like this, boom. Not hard, but he went.
Yeah, like a little.
It died out right there. Damn. It was over.
So then from there, when did you start
From there, I went home and just started trying to mess around with it because I started seeing everybody at summer started coming up. Summertime, so everyone goes to the parlor, ice cream parlor shop, plays Defender and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We're over there and everybody's popping. Everyone's popping. So I just watch. Get to the junior high school. 11 years old was aha.
That's dope. That's super dope. And
12, actually 11 was just getting it. 12 was like, booyah. Can't touch me.
That's dope. And then
just to remind you, that's not the attitude I had at that time.
Of course.
Okay? It's okay to have a little shit. I'm confident in what I can do. You understand? A lot of people take that as the ego, as pride. You know what? If you're confident in how good you are and what you can do, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying, back then, it wasn't like that. Nobody was feeding that. I'm this, I'm that. Nobody was doing that back then. So it was just go do your thing, go against someone. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, nobody's gonna hate on you. None of that happened. It's just popping.
No, and that's real because even if you see all the greats, and I put you in that category of one of the greats. For the most part, you guys grew up humble. You had to because you come in with the wrong energy, and things will turn left right away. So it's very important because now this new thing with being overly confident, or what people say, cocky. It's a different level now of the self confidence that we have. Um,
Yeah.
and every right, like we evolve and we're learning, especially as people of color, to like we have to heal
Yeah.
and believe in ourselves and stuff like that. But I want to make it clear, because back in those days too, like you weren't gonna be cocky because you're a good popper, because there was no real like future of there was no career, like, oh, I'm gonna be good at popping. That doesn't necessarily mean that life is set, right?
Yeah.
It was kind
Yeah.
of like it was a little.
That did happen till around 80, I would say 82, 83. They started figuring out like maybe we can do something with this, you know? But in the beginning, we weren't looking at like we're gonna go on TV. We weren't really tripping on that because it was just that wave just came in, and I rode that wave. When people say, "Well, I seen this," I seen that too, man. I rode that wave in the late '70s and early '80s because that's when it was popping, it was cracking, and to ride that wave around the different creeds and colors of poppers that I had to go up against in different turfs, let's say, because we'll get into that. You have to go somewhere to get. If you're good and you are that person, they talk about that person. Ask him where he's been, what neighborhoods did he go in, what schools did he show up at, what mall did he show up, what bus did he ride to get over there? Did he get off and go against the dude that was at the next corner? That's all I did. That's all we did, man. That's all we did. And you couldn't be a wussy to do all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And when was your first battle or your first time going up against someone, like using your skills? And
That was against.
who was it?
It was Jerome Campew and Danny Martinez.
Okay.
See, I went to the first grade of junior high.
Yeah.
My brother telling me about dancers. He named them names: Anthony Gill, Gibby. I'm like, who are these dudes? They're like a year under him, so he knew who they were. He was older, but he goes, those guys get off. So I get to junior high, they're older than me. And they're standing with their pompadour hairs going back all big and nice and clean with hairspray all on it. Some of them have hair nets, Mexican style. The blacks have their hair nets. Everyone had their own, they had shit, that same style, but similar. Anthony Gill, he was right there and he did a tick through his arms. I was like, what the hell was that? Remember, I saw Jerome in 5th grade. Nothing special, but it was good enough to me to say, whoa. Now I go to the next grade after summer, and this dude goes like this, just like this. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. I go, what the fuck? He just cracked every part in his body.
Yeah.
And I told my Africano homie that I grew up with, played soccer and baseball, that I went from elementary to fair to junior high with him. So he's my good friend. Hey, bro, Gerald, you see that dude, Anthony Gill? He went like this. I couldn't do it, but he did some kind of thing. He goes, that's called ticking. I go, dude, he's dope. I just wanted to follow that guy. He goes, no. Come here. I'm going to introduce you to my friend. So now we're in junior high, so we're meeting older guys. You know what I'm saying? So I go to the gym with him and go where they're all hanging out in the gym. There's an Afrikaner dude named Malcolm Shepard. This guy has a jacket on with an afro, green eyes, and a black jacket zipped up that says Eastside Ticketeers. I was like, what is this? Yo, this is crazy. Big white letters. Eastside Ticketeers. My hair's standing up because that's how real this shit is. You feel me? So I'm like, I already saw Anthony Gill go boom, 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 boom. That's a basic tick. Today, people can't even do a basic tick. They don't know what a basic tick is. Now that I basic because I'm going along with the wave. Shit's just happening. This is new. Bah, 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 bah. I go, whoa. He goes, now come here. He said, this is my friend Malcolm. This is Brian Moreno. He's new here to school. He said, hey, what's up, B? How you doing, man? He goes, can you show him a tick? And he goes, all right. He was on the wall. He jumped off the wall, black. His hands came up like this. He went,
damn,
all the way through. And when he got to the end, his fingers came out. I was like, what? This dude, that just blew me away. It was over after that. That's where I people think I come from Playboy Inc. and Playboy Rob. This is before Playboy Rob.
Damn.
So this is the guys I learned from.
Yeah.
And Malcolm Shepard, after that, he was, thank God, he liked me, I guess. He goes, hey, bro, I'll teach you this. He started hanging around, going to my house with me. Just go like this, Money B, and I'm going home and I'm going like this. Literally. Come on, man. finally I started seeing his friends. He goes, watch my other homeboy Willie in my group, another East Side Ticketeer guy. His fingers pop, 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 pop. See the pop, 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 pop. That's not popping though. They would hit hard, bro. It was, come on, they had jackets that said Ticketeer. They're naming what they were.
Yeah.
So those are the guys that actually put me on game. Them and Jerome, I started doing with, I put their styles together.
So that,
I
figured
it out.
So were they the big crew? East Side Ticketeers, were they like
the East Side Ticketeers? Remember Jerome Campew? He just got there. He's already on a high level at a young age. Mm-hmm. I'm figuring it out. They don't know who Brian Moreno is. They just know Brian Moreno is the guy, the young guy hanging out with them. He's a cool guy. But I'm putting all this in here. They don't know this yet. Mm-hmm. I'm training, getting ready for the first dance. Malcolm Shepard says, hey, B, Danny Martinez and Jerome Campew want to go against him and his crew, East Side Ticketeers. They said, we're too good for them. That's what they said. I'm like, what? Because we're too good for them. Because they already had jackets and stuff. So I guess they thought of themselves as a group. Yeah. They ain't even had no jackets. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was. But they didn't have jackets, the other guys. It was just Jerome, who just got there like me, with Danny Martinez, who was like a year older. Another Mexican guy that wanted to look Filipino. So they were like two Filipino-looking dudes, but one wasn't Filipino, but he was dressed like him. He liked Filipino style.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get you ready, and when we battle, they're going to call me out. He goes, I'm going to pull you out. I'm going to get you ready. I go, really? So I just went along with that. I didn't know if it was really going to happen because it didn't look like that, but I was just like learning this stuff, whatever. Cyclops, we call this Cyclops. Bah, 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 bah. So I started learning all that. And I go to that dance. I remember jumping the fence. I had white Bogarts on, right? I don't know if you guys know what Bogarts. They're baggy pants. Yeah. I had white. Jumped the fence. We were bad kids. Jumped the fence to get in, try to sneak in. I jumped over. It's dark. I land in all the ivy. It's all wet. My white pants are soaked. I'm looking like garbage right now. You feel me? But I have to get in there. We get in there. Come on, Brian, let's go. We get in. As soon as we walk in that door, we snuck in. As soon as we got in, remember back in the days, it's dark in there. Today they have the lights on. Back in the day, the lights are off, and they got the music. The music just went on. Boom, boom, wow. Boom, boom. Oh shoot! We run over there like, yo, my boy Malcolm. They said tickets. They go, B, get over here. And you see Danny Martinez and Jerome just like this. You know, you're shaking like it's about to go just like that. They're like this. It's on. It's on. It's about to be on. This is new. This is fresh. So I'm like, yo, man, what's going on? Like, I think I'm going to be part of this. I go, mostly the Filipinos and Mexicans on that side. On this side was all the blacks. I'm with the blacks. You know what I'm saying? Those are my folks. They're like, yo, B, let's go. The other blacks, Africanos, did not know that Malcolm was pulling me out. They had no clue about this. Only he knew. So it's a big surprise. So I'm like this behind him. And I see Danny Martinez and Jerome come out. Yeah, yeah. They just went out. They started giving it to him. Blah, 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 doing all this like low stuff on their legs, dropping back up, blah, 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 sliding. I'm like, woo. They throw one at him. Boom. Malcolm's still like this standing there with his crew. And then Danny Martinez comes out. Boom. He starts shuffling. Blah, but slowly. Then he did the move I call the barrel roll. Blah, his whole body's going, roll at him, came back. Blah. As soon as he was done, Malcolm jumped out the way, put his arm behind me and pushed me. And I went, wow. Wow. Everybody goes, where did you come from? And I just started giving it to him. Ticking. All in their face. Their eyes, I remember till this day, were almost watering. I was in their face. Boom, 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 boom. They were like, what? Because I'm learning from the tickers. So they didn't know how to tick. So I'm going, da, 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 da. They're like, every girl that was with afros were screaming, going, "Oh my, get that mother!" I had everybody on my. It was crazy. That was my first battle. After that, I'm like, "Yo, this is it. This is what I'm going to be doing."
You get addicted. You know, we all have that moment where like we realize the true power of what our dance and our art form could do. You know, and the battles I always like to ask because you know, especially for us that grow up in the neighborhoods that we grew up in, like. That first battle is really what gets you hooked. You know, it really gets you hooked and it kind of pushes you to that lifestyle of wanting more, right? To get that feeling again and again. So, like, that battle happened, you know, and what would you say, like, what was, like, the lifestyle for you right after that? Like when that, well, around that time, like what was the lifestyle for you? And, you know, what was like, what would you say a normal day for you was? Like, how would you go about your day?
That it was on. It was like, I would say the best thing that ever happened in my life. I could probably cry right now, that was so beautiful. After that, everybody wanted to kick it with your boy. I wasn't really understanding because I'm still a kid, man. I'm 11 and 12 years old. I'm a kid. I didn't really have time to do those 12-year-old things that 12-year-olds did because they were coming after me for battling. Everybody was looking for me. So I would go out and try to battle people, and they look at me like, what's he gonna do? They would laugh at me. I literally laugh at me like, oh, this guy, this is him. You brought him?
Yeah.
All the time. So I would go against at least 4 to 5 Africanos at a time because a majority of them were in the neighborhood I was going to. Okay. Then I would hit the Mexican neighborhoods, but there would be apartment complexes that would be just mostly Africanos, mostly Samoans, mostly Mexicans. It was like that.
Yeah,
so I started going,
taking the bus.
So I started going to each one. Guys were grabbing, yo, let's go. And my brother's friends would call me when he goes, AB, remember I'd pick you up and take you? I don't remember that. He goes, I was taking you from block to block, from school to school. One guy called me again. He goes, AB, I remember, I got a story for you. I went to Independence High School one day, and Playboy Rob was getting beat by the Sonic Wavers. That's Anthony Russell, Eric Barbie, bad dudes, right? These dudes are bad. They're the same age as Rob. They're giving it to each other. Rob will go to every high school and battle everybody. So this is like summertime. They had stuff going on. And the guy goes, and then he goes, Rob was losing. He's doing pretty good, but there's a lot of guys going against him. Okay, he goes, he was losing. He goes, and a little guy walked with a black jumpsuit, big pompadour. That was me. He goes, it was you. He goes, you walked in. He goes, you went in the middle and you just started throwing tuts all over the place and twistos and glides and waves. He goes, you took them dudes out right away. I go, really? I don't remember that. He goes, man, we're like, who's this dude? Who's this little dude? They go, that's Brian Moreno. I go, just to let you know, this is like a year ago, he told me this. I go, just to let you know, I wasn't in high school. I'm at a high school, junior high kid. Damn. In high school. You know, say that. That's just how it was.
Beat up, and you can get beat up for winning a battle and embarrassing somebody.
Oh, they tried to sometimes. They try to get me a couple of times. You got to run. I had the Samoans, the Puppetrons. I was gone. Let's see, I'm out of here, boy. So who's kid?
I want to ask you. So, did you meet the Puppetrons before you met Playboy Rob and Playboys Inc.?
Met them through him.
Okay, so when did that happen? Like, how did that happen? How did you meet Playboy Rob?
I was living on the east-south area. So we left when we went to the junior high school. We moved like a month before that to the deep east side, right in the middle of the heart of the east side. So now I'm leaving Malcolm Shepard and the east side tickets, but they're still coming to visit me because it's not that far away. But I go into the deep east now. They already know who Rob is there because you hear his name.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I'm over here now on the east side, so I got to take a certain bus and walk over a certain down Keegan Story to get to that school now. But anyways, I come home in the daytime, come from 7-Eleven. I see Playboy Rob across the street. Another little homie named Richard Jordan. He goes, hey, little heavy guy. Bah, his pop. Bah, bah. He was badass, this little kid. Yeah. He had the scared. I was still scared and shy. So that's why people were taking me to do things. I wasn't going on my own.
Yeah.
That's Playboy Rob. I go, is it? Well, that is him. You know, I'm not going to say that. I'm shy.
Yeah.
Goes, say something. Call him out. He has 2 girls like this on his arm. He was that was ghetto fabulous right there, that dude, man. He was a cool dude, boy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's walking with girls across the street. I go, nah, man, he's probably too dope. We ain't going to mess with him. I go, let's go home. I turn around. This dude goes, Playboy Rob. I go, dude, what are you doing? And Playboy Rob turns around, and Richard Jordan goes, boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh, shoot, what are you doing, dude? He's going to come over here. And Rob took his arm off the girl, goes, what's up? He goes, get him, B. I went, ta, 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 ta. I started ticking, just basic tick. To him, that's old. He was already like, that's old. I'm like, what do you mean that's old? What are you going to do? I can beat that because I'm good at ticking. That's old to him. This was like 1981 now, around the beginning of it, I think. And he goes, hold on. And he goes, don't move. He's across the street. And I go, what's up? He goes, right. And he goes, He waved it on like that's nothing. He goes, boom, 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 boom. He started going, his arms came back, bah, bah, boom, 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 boom. His legs are in the sky, knees high, bah, bah, walking at me, bah, bah. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, he took it to another level. He didn't call it the tick walk. It was just the way he walked. He was coming at you, bah, 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 bah. It was insane, bro. He just basically showed me you need to get to another level.
Yeah, so right away. Yeah.
So I did that. When he threw that at us, we took off running. We went home. He came and found me. He came that day, that hour, looking for me because I guess he liked what he saw.
Yeah. Especially him seeing another Chicano.
That's what it was.
Like that. Especially a kid, you're like, and back in those days too, like you're looking for that. Like especially on the streets, like there wasn't like YouTube and there wasn't all these different ways to see different dancers and keep connected. So when you seen somebody that could get down, you're gonna link up. You're gonna see what's up with them. So he came to your crib, right? Playboy Rob.
Yeah,
came to
him and a small guy named Rocky.
Okay, Rocky.
They said someone's outside, looking for you. I looked through the blinds. We knew it was probably them. My boy Richie goes, "That's Sam. Rob came to the house. It was a big thing. Rob's at your house, bro. Let's go get him. Let's go out there." I was shy. I looked through the blinds. I said, "I'm not going out there." I said, "I'm not going out there." And I see a Samoan dude doing the side. You know how we go across the side, whap, whap, with our feet? Mm-hmm. A lot of that comes from these guys. These guys were doing that way back before. I haven't seen nobody do those side hops like that. So they were going to the whole middle of the street. "Where's that kid Brian at? Wow, wow, all the way across, spinning. Where you at, kid? Come out here." They were doing everything.
Now they want.
Yeah, they wanted to come out here. I'm like, dude. And my mom comes. She goes, "Hey, some guys out there." I told them I'd go get you. I go, "No, Mom, I'm not trying to see these guys." So I had to go out there. And once I did, we started talking. And he goes, "I need you on my group. We're gonna make Playboys Inc. It's gonna be me and you." I said, "All right, let's go."
Damn.
All of it. Yeah.
And how much older was he than you?
3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Damn, that's in your guys' lifestyle back in those days, man. The week is like like 5 months for us. Like how much things you guys go out and do. That's a huge difference as well. In one day,
we did so much in a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. And that's good that you brought that up because I always think about that. What these guys don't understand today. We did so much in a small amount of time.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's true, and it does, and it shows. Sometimes I know a lot of people think that it was like this 20-year thing. Like, no, this was all happening within 1 to 3 years. This big jump and this culture taking over, especially California. All across California, and you guys were living that lifestyle. Every day waking up, taking buses for like mad hours.
That was on the normal. We wake up in summertime was just that our life was popping in the summertime, bro. When it was summer school time, it was my cousins stayed at our house. We never stay at nobody's house. Stayed with us a whole summer. His mom was like, he doesn't ever stay on the weekends. But because I was popping and people wanted to battle me, and I was going to do that on the daily.
Yeah.
He knew. He stayed at my house for a whole summer because he was going with me every bus, everything.
That's dope. So now that you met Playboy Rob and he put you down with Playboys Inc., and it's really just you two, right? As Playboys Inc.
Yeah.
And how was like?
My name Rudy Tellez.
Okay.
He's from White.
From where?
Rudy Tellez is older than me. He's Rob's age.
Okay.
It's like Rob's the type of guy that would like to help you and teach you, even if you didn't know how to pop. Because Rudy wasn't doing all these things yet. I'm like, he's not even good. In my head, I'm like, this guy's not even that good. Why are we going to this guy, Rob? I'm like a little kid. Rob goes, don't worry, Brian. We're going to get this guy. His name's Rudy. We go over there, and Rudy's a nice guy. He was hella cool, but he picked up routines fast. Him and Rob started doing routine. Rudy had a slow pace of dancing.
Yeah.
Meaning wasn't like, blah, blah. He wasn't like that. That's why I tell our people today, there's a different technique on hits. People can hit hard or you can hit soft. Some people say, well, the soft is wrong. You can't. No, that's not true. Because Rudy Tellez was a guy, he would not full force or he would just boom, 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 boom. You see what I'm saying? You go,
yeah. That finesse.
Yeah, it was really calm about it, but it worked. He did damage.
And like, how would you guys practice and link up? Like, what was that like? You know, because
we would walk to each other's houses, you know, and he would come to my house. I would go to his house. It'd be like 5 blocks away or something, like a mile away. But we're all in the hood, so I go to his side of the neighborhood where all the Samoans lived at, and that's when he started. Me, him, and Rudy would practice that just right in front of the. You know, you open your door, walk outside. We're just right there on the sidewalk, getting ready for the show every other month that was happening.
Yeah, because there wasn't a bunch of organized battles. They were all performances and like
No,
shows.
no such thing as organized battle. This was, like I said, your credentials. Ask an OG. What did he do? Who did you battle? Where did you go? Did they know who you are? Where did you battle at? Because there's going to be certain historic spots that it has in their city. Okay, it's going to be school. It's going to be the park. It might be your ice cream parlor. It might be, you know what I'm saying, at the bus stop, at a certain bus stop like Eastside, Eastridge. Everyone pull off at that mall, and right over there where the bus stations are, all kinds of people are taking those buses. They wouldn't even make it to the mall because everyone's that's going on a different bus. You're not even getting on your bus. You're about to battle. It's about to go down.
That's real. That's super dope. So you guys are like, you know, linking up, going around, entering talent shows. When was that clip that I've seen where it's like you as a youngster with Playboy Rob? Like, what year was that, and like how long did you already know him? That I think Maze put that clip up.
That was I probably barely knew him. A couple of maybe 3 to 4 months.
And where was that performance at? Like, well, how did it
get recorded? That was a TV show by the Raza, Frank Reese, an OG homie, who was all. Well, they were part of you know, they're trying to put the Raza on the map and do things. The
movement is bumping right now.
See, people don't say too much, but I'm gonna keep it real. These shows that we were doing in San Jose was all had to do with the lowrider car shows. The lowrider shows, the Raza that was doing these shows, they started wanting to do more TV. Let's do our own TV shows. So they had a 5-star production, had their shows, jams, which would have lowriders out there. You could win for your lowrider bike, whatever. And then they said, we're going to put the popping battles involved with this. So popping got involved with the lowrider shows at all the battles. Then they said, you know, we got a TV show. Whoever wins will come on the TV show. And that was that little black and white. They go, oh, this is Brian Moreno and Playboy Rob. That he has the one where we're talking on there. You could hear us talking and laughing.
That's super good.
But those were just to let people know on air. There will be another show within the next 2 months. If you want to be a qualifier, come and try out, or, you know, meet us at this show, and you'll be $500 if you win. If you do that, you'll be in the finals in 6 months, shit like that from now.
That's super dope.
So a lot of people would, you know, Sonic Wavers, Playboys Inc., Just Us, Snap. There was a lot of groups, man.
And that's what I was gonna get into. Like, so this is middle school. Now, you know, we're going through this like little chunk of period, right? You met them. You're in middle school. You guys are Playboys Inc. What else? Who else was like the other dope crews that you guys, you know, I guess the other respected crews that have that history, just like Playboys Inc.
The Puppetrons, man. The Puppetrons, Sonic Wavers, one of the top. Sonic Wavers was huge in San Jose. They're the ones that went to San Francisco Ballet. They added the breaking way. When the b-boying came, they became really good at the b-boying with because the routines were already taking first place. They're one of the first guys to connect that 3-man earthworm in San Jose. So when they did that, they started blowing shit up, bro. These dudes would come with the costumes. They would study and practice on the daily, just them. Their parents had them training, literally.
That's super dope. And I know, because like another thing, right? Even though San Jose's up north and closer to San Francisco than obviously us, was San Francisco like a whole nother planet to you? Did you know like what the crews were out there, or who was getting down, or did you hear anything from out
that way? See, because the shows started happening, okay? Once these lowrider shows started happening and we started getting wind of them having shows over in Richmond, San Francisco. Not too much Oakland. It was mostly like San Francisco, Richmond, Union City, Fremont, those little areas. But Frisco got wind of us. They started coming over. I was at these jams. I'm in the Santa Clara Fairground. That's the whole fairgrounds for the county. And they have the carnivals and all that there. So we're out there because we threw a big show, not us, but San Jose. Viney and them, 5-star production, and Frank Reese, they threw a big car show. And all the poppers were there. Frisco came deep. There were a lot of, but it was different styles from San Francisco. Mission is Mission Street. The homeboys from Mission came. We'll talk about them in a minute. Demons of the Mind came. You know, had different colors of clothing, orange, bright colors, because they were already doing their routines too. Now, mind you, before all this, the Puppetrons were already going to Richmond to their talent shows, taking first place.
Okay. See,
and they were coming. They knew the style. They knew about all these dope crews from Richmond. They knew about Demons of the Mind. We go, so how was it? What happened? They go, Money B, we went over there. We got involved in that. They go, and there was Demons there? They go, they were badass. They gave mad love. They go, those dudes, boy, it was off the hook. We all knew about Demons. He was Criminons, all the Plick Plocks crew, all these old school crews were all there. This is old shit right here. But the Puppetrons, remember, San Jose always had a little bit other techniques added to their popping. That's when people say, San Jose is just popping and strutting. Okay. Is where it comes into play. We always had that. So when the Puppetrons went and battled in Richmond, they said that they were doing, he goes, we added some more to the table. He goes, everybody was strutting and doing their routine. You know, he goes, we were strutting. Because we throw waves, we throw tuts, you know what I'm saying? We throw some ticks in there. Well, really? So I go, that's what Rob does. I go, where do you think he got it from? I go, He goes, anyways, we took first place in Richmond. He goes, they put us on the flyer and wanted us to come back for another round because they loved us there. I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, so the second one, they put us on the flyer. He goes, but we did take first place over everybody else that was there. I go, he goes, one day he goes, yeah, we asked Demons of the Mind, we borrow your gloves. And I'm like, no, man, that's your costume. You can't give you our costume. Because, you know, Samoans came like they were, struggle. They didn't have a costume. So one of their costumes, they go, Money, you know where we got our costume from? We're going by the San Jose hospital to go get to the bus to get where we had to go. He goes, man, let's go up in this hospital and get some doctor's suits real quick. So they went there, stole some doctor's suits. They started doing that.
That's crazy. So, and we'll go back a little bit. So you're with Rob, right? Just to give people more information on who the Puppetrons were. So you had the East Side Ticketeers, which you met them, and that was kind of like the first people who took you under their wing, right? And then, you know, you end up meeting Playboy Rob, getting down with Playboys Inc., and then he's the one that introduces you to the Puppeteers.
Puppetrons, yeah.
Puppetrons, my bad. The Puppetrons.
Yeah.
And who were the Puppetrons?
Okay, the Puppetrons were a few guys that come from the gang SOS. So not all SOS was a Puppetron, just a few of them that knew how to dance.
Yeah.
So they were the ones, there was like a good 4 of them, 5 of them. And they were just big dudes and they were very intimidating. So there were Samoan dudes that they was already in the gang life and all that. So when you would see them, you'd be like, man, those guys look crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it was right off the bat intimidating just to see them. So when you see them dance, so a lot of people say, man, when Money B comes out, when I come out, I take a lot of that from these guys, from Sonic Wavers, from Snap Along, from these old school groups. I take a lot from them. And I have no problem saying that because it wouldn't be Money B without any of the guys that I watched and grew up on. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't. I Money B out of all these mentors and guys I looked at. I grabbed every different movement and character and the way they did it. So when the Samoans would come out, man, these dudes would come out, boom. You know? It's almost like a big Frankenstein coming at you. Yeah. Blah, blah. And that's why when I teach a lot of people that are smaller than me. I go, you want to make yourself bigger? Because there's a way to intimidate people. So I teach on how to make yourself bigger instead of just going like people, oh, you guys are strutting, so I'm trying to get this strutting down. You don't have to be like this unless you're doing a routine. There's so much keys to these codes, you know what I'm saying? So basically, just open up, you know, make yourself big. But these guys will come out, boom, boom, they will go up. Them a lot of authority with their dance.
Yeah. And these are San Jose, right? They're from San Jose.
San Jose Owens that were connected with their cousins that were from San Francisco, Carson, Long Beach, all of them.
They're all. If you don't know the Samoans, you know, in their culture, they're all family. Know, everyone's related. They're all cousins, and it's crazy, like how much they all the way from Southern California to up north. You know, they all know each other.
They're all connected. Little does everybody know, because people try to put the dots together. The Samoans that live down south were continually driving up north to their family, what they call Flag Day, and all the Samoans would kick it every year. And all my Uso homies are like, all right, we got to go. We'll see you later tomorrow. It's like, where you going? We're going to this thing where all the Samoans go every once a year, and we meet up.
Yeah.
So that's where, like, Tony the Strutter from San Francisco, nobody talks about him. He's one of the baddest strutters, man. He danced with close encounters. But anyways, Stefa, who's one of the baddest, rest in peace, that Rob learned from San Jose, that boy would go down and they couldn't touch Stefa. Stefa was amazing.
These were Rob's teachers, right?
Yes.
The Puppetrons. They're Rob's
yes.
teachers. Playboy Rob learned from a bunch of Samoans.
Yes.
Damn.
He wanted to dance with them in the Puppetrons, but they told me that they told him no because he wasn't Samoan.
Yeah.
See, some people say, well, that could be racist. No, they that's how they kept it.
Yeah.
They even our gang, we don't want you to be in our gang. If you ain't Samoan, you got to go with the Mexicans, Rob. He would tell them, go with the Mexican.
And how did he get that name, Playboy Rob? You know, you could say a lot of people got their names from how they lived in the streets and stuff like that. Because even at this time, you weren't Money B yet, right? No one was calling you Money B yet, right? So
no.
So how did Playboy Rob get his name?
I would say, I don't really know that, but I would say because of the era of Hugh Hefner at that time, the early 80s was Playboy magazine. So Playboy was a big thing. Okay. I explain this a lot. In the late 70s, early 80s, Playboy Bunny was the big thing. Like today, whatever's big today, Gucci, all these things, you know, you're part of, you want to be down with.
Yeah, that's cool. Their logo, yeah.
So that was a logo. Playboy Bunny was on everything. It was on TV, commercials. Playboy Bunny was on the sides of our van shoes, that little bunny on the side. Rob was wearing glasses with little bunnies on here, right here in the corner. He would have a bunny hanging right here. So bunnies were big. It was a big thing. The New York East B-boys were wearing a lot of the Playboy Bunny stuff. It was a big thing. So he called himself Playboy Rob.
That's dope.
Took it further and said, I'm Playboys Incorporated. You know, he got that from Strutters Inc. Strutters Incorporated was Puppetrons. They changed their name to Strutters Inc.
Oh, okay. See that.
So Rob said Playboy.
Yeah, it transitions over, you know, because he's still admiring these people.
Oh yeah. So they told him, "You're not dancing with us because you're not Samoan." They go, Rob didn't care. He kept coming to us. He goes, I don't care. I'm still going to get off with you guys. I'm still going to do all this. And they go, he did it, and he would amaze us with the things he was doing. He was taking our shit and twisting it up like you never seen.
And what would you say you learned the most from Playboy Rob? Like, what was Playboy Rob's style, and like, what was something that
I would say that what we call today is flowmation. I learned a lot of that from Rob because Rob would put these moves together from one to the next, and you wouldn't know how he got to that style. So if you'll see me, for instance, I'll start strutting on people, wah, 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 and I'll start finger rolling. I'll start tutting, wah, wah, wah. Start ticking, you know, saying animating. We always knew we always try to figure out all these styles and we put them together. Rob was already doing that. He was a time capsule. He was ahead of the game.
That's super dope. And
because trace waving and all of that, he was trace waving and he would strut and come up, boom, boom. He was going around the back, whop, 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 and then start strutting. And dudes were still doing the basic, you know, like strut left to right, because that's like basic. And, you know, you see Oakland and do that. It's dope. Everybody wants to jump on it. That's dope. But know your history. Know that there's more to strutting than just doing 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? Strutting comes from routines. And not only that, if you ain't doing routines, it's hard to call yourself a strutter if you really don't know the timing and the game. To go in deep, get in some routines, get involved in routines. And when you do all those and we see them, you're a strutter because you can, it's a timing, man. It's a big timing. But Rob put those things together and flipped the script. And he made Playboys Inc. When they did those routines, he would throw finger with touch, everything. Go right back to strutting, hop back, wow, come back, wow. You know, he was doing crazy things, man.
I'm glad you said that about routines because that's another big missing piece that I feel a lot of people don't talk about, that it's what shaped our culture and our dance. Because even if you look back to everyone's inspiration, right, with the Jackson 5, and then you go into the Lockers, right? There's a lot of other ones, but I'm just going into these big ones. They were all groups that did routines. So really that's how the culture, the people within the culture knew to dance. And that's why kind of you were dancing, like was to get into a group, to create routines, to enter a talent.
Of course there's solos, will always be there.
Of course.
But what you're saying is if you look back on everything, guys, you'll see the Temptations. You'll see, you know, the
Yeah.
Commodores, all these people dancing together, you know, the way they moved, that's where a lot of the messengers and them grabbed that stuff from. Like, oh man, the Black Resurgence, they were dancing a little bit with their stuff, and then start hard posing with it. But a lot of it comes from that. Like for me, for instance, I the Jackson 5, the Temptations, the way their steps were being spin around on time, that's where we got a lot of that comes from. It's from these guys.
Yeah, so it's important to get that within you, to get that in you, right? To find some people that you can do routines with. Obviously, if you have a crew
Of a routine to work with 4 to 5 guys, you start mastering timing, because when you go solo, now you have your solo timing and you have your crew timing. If you could meet up with these guys on domino, wow, wow, and double it up, and single, boom, boom, boom. If you could do all that, your solo is going to be impeccable.
No, yeah, that's true. Very true. You know, and it's just really dope to see, you know, that history of our culture, that you know, the talent shows, the routines, the groups. Because I even have heard multiple times of OGs dancers who called. They'll be like, "We're like a band." You know, they would like that's how they would kind of describe their group, because people still weren't knowing it, right? Because for the most part, most people who dance were musicians, and it was like connected together. So when people would be like, "Oh, what's the name of that?" You're like, "Oh, this is my band. This is my band, or this is my group." It wasn't like
some people they didn't recognize what it was. You know, like what, because we didn't call it popping yet. You know.
No, yeah.
At one point, they weren't calling it popping, or they say, "Oh, that's a group right there. It's not a crew. That's a group right there. That's one of the groups. That's it, a group."
So, and what did you hear first? Like when you heard it described, did you hear it as strutting or popping, or was it both?
I actually heard I heard the word popping a lot. I heard the word popping a lot. My brother would always say, or the word get off. I heard a lot of getting off. Like I would tell people, "Hey man, you got off," or "You did good." They'd always say from overseas. But is that bad? I'm like, they don't know. So I guess that's an old word. I guess I'm old, man. Get off is an old word, I guess. So I go, no, that's good. So what we eventually would mean to say a lot is, "Oh man, little homie, you got off," or "Hey man, get off," or "That dude gets off right there." That's a lot what I heard. Get off, get off. Okay. And then they start popping, pop locking, strutting routines. So everything just started coming in fast. We just ran with all of them, you know, popper, strutter, you know what I'm saying?
You guys use pop locking up there as well, so because a lot of
boogaloo. People, we didn't hear the word boogaloo a lot.
Oh, okay. Because boogaloo was more of like an older school thing, right? Like your guys' generation really started.
Yes.
Because even look at the ages of, like, you know, the old school boogaloos, not the electric boogaloos, the other ones. A lot of them are way older, you know, and the style's way different, and there's huge differences.
Well, you know, I know it's older and the guys are older and all, but we got guys in San Jose that are older too, you know, and they still did the way they wanted to pop. Even though Oakland's 45 minutes, Frisco's 45 minutes from San Jose, you would think we're gonna move like them. We weren't moving like these guys. We had our own way of wanting to do it the way we do. But then again, we have people coming from LA all the time. We got family, like you say, you know, Mexicans got big family in LA, so we go back and forth. The Samoans go back and forth. The brothers, Pop and Pete even told me, I used to go to San Jose, I have a family member there. So yeah, a lot of people go back and forth. Skeeter Rabbit was always he was over in Seven Trees area. My boy Paul, OG Paul, he's on Facebook. He might bring it up one day, but he goes, yeah, bro. He goes, I remember Skeeter Rabbit came down over in the Seven Trees. It's a Crip neighborhood. Yeah. He must have a family member or somebody, but he didn't pop, but he would hang out there every so often.
Okay. So yeah, so now we'll go back to, you know, junior high, now late junior high. You're already, you know, 8th, 9th grade. You already have this down. You already know you're a popper. How was the high school experience? Did you take it into high school, or were you already into something else by high school?
See, it's not even really over. The story for me is basically doing that with those guys at that high school. I just got to that JW Fair Junior High. And I'm doing this with Malcolm and them battling Jerome and them. And then I go meet Rob over here. As all this is going on, remember, I'm in a new school. I just started. So your boy got kicked out already. I'm not going to school no more. I'm doing popping.
What kind of student were you? What kind of student were you, B?
I was not good. I got lost. My parents were going through a divorce. I seen it. So this is where this all comes into play. I could either go crazy and like, what do I do? And lash out on these things. But I was looking towards the cholo gangsters. I was already dressed like them, and then I was looking towards the popping. So that popping saved me. I said, you know what? You're not going to dress like a cholo no more. You're going to be a popper. I started doing that. I started getting involved in so much dance that I didn't have time to worry about who was getting divorced in my family. I didn't have time to worry about, I didn't even worry about school. I stopped going to school because I started hanging with bad people doing drugs and stuff. I'm like, man, what am I doing, guys? Sure enough, I just stopped going to the school. I just started drifting around with the other young dudes. So from there, they let me go from that school, and they called my mom. She found out I had to go to a new school, and that's on the west side of San Jose. I moved to my grandmother's house. My mom got remarried. I go this way, they go that way. So now I'm kind of going to a new world. Going to my grandma's hood, all Chicanos, mostly Chicanos. A couple of blacks over there, not too many. No Samoans, nothing like that. So I get over there, and I get to junior high Hoover. Now I'm in 7th grade in Hoover. So over there, it was like I had the whole high school and everybody come to that school because I got there at lunchtime.
Yeah. Everyone
Came from high school, filled up our whole lunchtime. We had everybody and their mamas. I'm talking at least good, but I can't even say, bro, that the whole school was out there. Brian Moreno's here. Because I was already in a magazine with little brims on, like this, me and Orlando doing the Wonder Twins, winning first place here. Then I was doing a lot of different competitions. I was getting in magazines, all those little magazines. So when I get to that new school, 7th grade, I didn't even make it high school yet because I'm still doing this. It was popping was a busy thing for me. So I get there and I got the whole entourage. Oh, that's Brian Moreno. That's girls, guys. That's Brian Moreno. That's Brian Moreno. And my boys till this day go, B, remember when you came? They're in high school. My homie, and we came over to see you. Like, oh man, boom, a guy named Stevan, a guy named Peter, a guy named Frutas. All these dudes were in line. Wow, get him. I'm just serving all of them. Serving them, the little kid, beating everybody. After that, I got the whole junior high walking around at lunch with me. Like, that's the man. He did it. Yeah. So I turned the B-boy and started coming in a little bit.
Okay.
When that came in, I started adding the breaking, and I kind of started pushing the popping away. Yeah. I didn't want to do two together. I wanted to master. I mastered this one. I figured I'll go to this one and master and leave that alone. That's how I treated it. And people are like, yo, we're not popping. I'm going to be a B-boy now.
That's super dope. And a lot of people I know a lot of people don't know that you're also, you have a history in breaking, and that's kind of what we're going to get into now.
Yeah.
And you're from a legendary crew, super legendary crew that influenced the crews that influenced all breaking, especially this generation's breaking scene. So now you're transitioning into breaking. You're already, upperclassman in junior high. So you just started, was it because you started kicking it with new friends at this new school that were breaking, or were you still kicking it with the same people and all of you guys just started breaking and left?
I would say the popping, all the guys that started coming around me, everybody jumped into b-boying. It took over everything, you know what I'm saying? So when people say, oh, I was popping in 1984, 85, 83, that's cool and all, but it wasn't like a big thing. It wasn't, the magic wasn't there no more because of the break.
It was already the older thing.
So we all started doing up rocking and what's up? We head spins. We just put everything in the closet. All the poppers put that stuff away. Playboy Rob kept going. He's like Demons of the Mind. Those guys, they all kept going. The older guys, Playboy Rob was doing stuff, routines, but he started adding like breakdancing moves to it. I'm like, that, but that I couldn't tell him, don't do that. That's his thing. But everybody, they really didn't have common sense of those don't go together. People today will tell you they go together. Okay, if you say so. I don't think they do.
And what was your crew's name?
For breakdancing?
Yeah, for breaking.
I was in Furious Street Rockers at one time. And then I went to Sidewalk. We switched over to Sidewalk Breakers.
Sidewalk Breakers.
But there's an original Sidewalk before us, and that's Junior Cardone and John and Bobby Reeves and Sean Ortiz. Rest in peace. Them boys were bad dudes.
But you're a second generation, would you say?
Yes. Yeah, we went over little issues with their manager, and he found out who we were, me, Romeo, and these other dudes. Yo, you guys want to? Because I guess he bought the name, or he took the name from him or something, because he was a real manager.
Okay, that's dope.
We didn't want to use the name because we knew them. They were cool with us, and but it was a manager. It was like a way to start doing things with the dance now, make money and stuff. So that's where we're headed.
And how long did you break for? When can you say, like, so now, you're already, like I said, upperclassman, junior high, transitioning to high school. When did you really stop dancing and started focusing on other things?
I would say right away. It was 10th, 11th grade. It was about done.
It was already, yeah, because, the way you guys grew up, again, like, I'm going to keep referencing this, you had to mature a lot faster. You were
Well,
not.
not only that, dancers, look, if you're a dancer, remember it's part of the gang lifestyle at that time. So a lot of us dancers, a lot of guys wouldn't dance that were gangsters because it looked weak. It was like a feminine style, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we don't do that. SHIT, homie, get over here. We gangbanging her. We do hardcore stuff. That's not hardcore to them, So that's the reason I believe a lot of us stopped doing it and we started getting more in the.
And as you see too, like, a lot of things in our communities, it kind of goes as, even though they're lifestyles, we have so much going on that it's like it's almost like a trend type thing. Like, whatever's there, whatever is attracting the crowd, the women, whatever's kind of could get you known is gonna be what everyone's doing. And the same way dance took over these communities, gang banging took over these communities even more so.
Yeah.
It was like a hot, like, right, like, I'm sure all your friends. Go ahead.
A lot of them went down. A lot of us just went. That was dancing went.
Yeah, because there's no programs for you guys. There's no one organizing things in parks. And obviously your parents just want you guys to work. Parents, I'm sure they're being concerned, like, oh my God, my kid's still dancing.
Parents weren't, and those days our parents were doing their own thing at times too. They weren't pushing us to go to college, to school. They'll go to school, but it's not like, hey, you're gonna get in trouble, I'm gonna spank you. We weren't getting that. It was like, whatever, do what you want. Because our parents were doing dope at the time too. You know what I'm saying? We come from that lifestyle of a struggle. Parents doing cocaine, doing this, drinking all night long, taking us to a bar to wait outside for your dad. So that's the kind of lifestyle we grew up in. We didn't grow up in the suburbs where we had everything on a platter for it. It was a struggle. So it was like a lot of peer pressure where you can't just keep dancing at a certain age, knowing you're not really going anywhere, knowing you got homeboys down the street that you're really hanging with now, and they're not doing that either. And you're trying to make money, so you start hustling and balling with these dudes, and now you're doing activities you shouldn't be doing. So everything just starts going out the door. But with me, the popping never left. Popping came back in my life as I started going to prisons and jails and all that.
So we'll get into that. We're gonna go through all of it. Like, maybe that's when we'll get into it, like, on the second part, because you have like, I feel like 3-4 lifetimes that different lifestyles that you lived and stuff. So right now, so once again, like, this is 10th, 11th grade. You kind of, the dancing kind of, took a back seat, and now, did you go immediately into, like, the gangbanging lifestyle, or was it like you transitioned from dancing to jump in?
I went full force with the gang style because I kept my popping with me because the guy that kind of gave me who I was, and people, that's Ryan, Money B, he's cool at popping. So they accepted that because it was kind of like it made them shine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It made the homie shine. Oh, we got one.
Yeah, they can say they know you. They can be like, that's the homie. That's the homie right there. I can call him.
Yes. So that was like, it was good for them. It was advantage to the homeboys because he got the homeboy to get down. So every time we went somewhere, did something, music's on. Money B, get him! Wow, they love that, bro. They love it. So I
get that Money B.
Money B comes from the streets, man. That comes from gang bang and selling dope and all that.
High school, they started calling you Money B.
Yes, a little bit around towards the end of it. Yeah, right around there.
Yeah, because you're high school age, but doesn't mean that you're going to school. Like, you're high school age. Yeah.
I remember going to one of the OG's house, and he was on my back of my neck putting Money B on me. And he put like the whole thing, 1-4, the gang sign. I'm like, damn. I thought about it. Did I just do that? You know what I'm saying? You think about things. A lot of these guys today put tattoos there. A lot of these guys, kids today, their tattoos don't really mean nothing. You're just putting things on you. Yeah. Ours mean something. Ours are, like I said, it's a struggle. It's it's dangerous, the stuff we have on us, because it's our lifestyles, man.
Yeah, it puts a target on you, and that's
Yeah.
that's why it was so taboo in our culture as well. You know, and like our elders would be so heated and like don't want you to get tattooed because they're worried, because it does
Yeah.
put a target on you. You know, because those
Yeah.
tattoos you would have to explain yourself like
Yeah.
multiple times. You know, like, what's that mean? Or like, yo, I see that you have that. What you bang? You know, and
Yeah.
that's something that I know a lot of the younger generation. That's what you're referencing to when you say like that meaning, right? It's because you guys really had to fight and earn these I call them like badges of honor in a sense, right? Um,
Yeah.
so you started gang banging. Now you're a young man, a Chicano growing up in San Jose. Um, if you don't mind, talking about it, like what gang were you from, and really like what was now? How was your lifestyle like? And now you're not dancing no more. You're not practicing, and life
Man,
is hard.
I, you know what? It's good to talk about it because it reminds me of where I came from. At the same
Yeah,
time, it's good to get people knowing. A lot of people don't know the dancers. I get a lot of people that reach out to me that know who I am because of my lifestyle. That I can count. I love counseling young kids, let
yeah.
them know how it is and what it's like to live the lifestyle. People would look at me, oh, when he's a dope, he's a popper. I live the lifestyle that's a struggle, man. It's not.
We like to
Was it?
talk about that because a lot of our elders in this culture, it had a similar experience to you, lived a certain lifestyle, and you guys, the people who you are today, you would never guess it. You would never
Yeah,
guess, that at
yeah,
one point in your life you did
yeah,
do certain things to survive, right? And it's important to talk about so it could deter someone because, as you know, if someone watches this, a kid watching it that grows up in the communities that we grew up in, it could change their life because a
yeah,
lot of times we don't have many people to look up to because a lot of our family did go to jail. A lot of them are
yeah,
addicted to drugs, and
yeah,
they don't come out. They don't make it out. So when you see someone that makes it out, like yourself,
yeah,
still one of the best in the world, doing what they're doing, it's like, oh shit, like I don't have to stay in this hole. I don't have
yeah.
to stay in this
Wow.
dark
Yeah.
place. So
You
yeah,
know
so
what? That's beautiful the way you say it, and I'm gonna keep it real. I don't look at myself as like, oh, this he's a legend. He did that. I can't see that when people say that. It kind of like makes me a little embarrassing because I'm just a regular dude like everybody else. But at the same time, people need to understand, the gang life, the drugs, it can kill you, man. All the bad choices can kill you, and you just put yourself in your own bubble basically because of pure pressure, not opening your mouth and saying what you really want to do. I was scared. I was afraid. I kept my mouth shut and just ran with the crowds. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I was part of a gang called VHS. The V stands for, which is really a B, Barrio. People call it Barrio with a V in English, but
yeah,
it's Barrio gang. It's a horse. We would have the symbol of a horseshoe because our neighborhood had a street that went like a horseshoe, and there was a park right there, right? And it's a horseshoe. So everybody knew that street. It was a horseshoe. So it's one of the oldest gangs in San Jose. But anyways, I was a part of that gang, a Norteño gang that I did a lot of street stuff, like gang bang versus other gangs and stuff, not just going out causing problems and robbing people's houses and stuff like that. We didn't do
innocent
that.
people like you guys are going against other people living the same lifestyle.
Yeah, we're it's a money thing, it's a pride thing, and there's a lot of stupidity things we did in within the gang life. Some gangs could be idiots. Some gangs can help the culture out. Say it's kind of like a protecting thing, but at the same time, we were knuckleheads and did stupid things. People seen us say, "Yo, you guys were bad kids, man," because at our time we started like literally going to places just to fight and let people know who we were, and stabbing and guns. We did it was ridiculous, bro. And sometimes I'd be like, man, what am I doing? And I would have people come up to me like, yo, B, what are you doing? The people that saw me pop and break dance in schools,
Yeah,
they bro, and they go, I'll never forget. There's a few people I can mention. I'm not gonna say their names, but they pulled up on me and they go, you okay? Like, what do you mean? I wasn't okay. I was on dope, man. I was all messed up. I was dressed in my pants, my shirt's all buttoned up and acting all hard. And what's up? What's up? And I knew what I was doing, but I had nowhere to go. I felt like I was lost because my mom got a new marriage. So I'm like, where do I go? So I started doing that. But other than that, people came to me and said, yo, this ain't you. What are you doing? And they try to help me out. Hey, but I remember all these people, but I just had to find my way out. It was a tough one. because I started getting addicted to drugs. Now you're going to different journeys now. You're going to other routes, you know what I'm saying? Well, let me remind you, I'm still popping. I did a lot of dope, still popping. I just kept going, man. The popping stayed there with me, man. It was like my security.
And like even for myself, who I wasn't necessarily in the gang or really ever in jail or anything like that, but I was at that point in my life where I had to make that decision, and
Yeah.
it's a dark place. That's what most people don't understand. It's not like you're going around, life is great, things are wonderful, birds are chirping, you have breakfast with your family. No, you're in a dark place, and what tends to happen is us in these communities, there tends to become a group that comes together that have this similarity, and then that's really what becomes your family, and the people that can relate to you the most, the people that you could talk to, and that's really where the gang comes from, and
You don't understand the part you just said. It's kind of like it became the devil lies to you, and he'll say, "This is your family now."
yeah.
He's going to tickle your ear. People say, "There's no devil." There's a devil, my brothers and sisters. I got tickled in my ear because remember, my parents are divorced now. That means there's no more love there. God is love. So if there's no more love, there's some bad shit going on. So when that's happening, I get tickled saying, "These are your people. These are your people. These are your people." Yeah, but they're bad things, but they're there for you every day. They're doing bad things, but they're there for you every day. Just go with them. Go with them. Morning, Money B, what's up? Let's go. Yeah. All right, let's go. Money B, let's go. All right, let's go. The more I kept doing that, I made that my family, and that's what the peer pressure where you can't even say no more, man.
Yeah, because it becomes like a thing that you think is loyalty, because now you feel like you have to be there for these people, and you are those people. You are that, and you're doing things together, right? And now
they're making pacts with you. As each day you're making pacts and you don't even know it. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, I'm going to county jails. What's going on? Oh, you're with us. Da da da. Yeah. Okay. Next thing you know, now I'm doing things in jails for these guys. Now I'm on the streets doing more work because I went to jail. You see what I'm saying?
For your family.
For my family, for the homies.
For the homies, right? The gang.
Yeah.
And how old were you the first time you got locked up?
I would say
camp or juvie.
I would say I went in at 18. As a youngster, I wasn't getting in trouble. I was getting away with stuff. They weren't catching me. But once I hit 18, 17, they started taking me in.
Damn, and you went straight to county, to the big boy?
I went to the county every other weekend. Every other weekend, because of gangs, because of domestic violence being all crazy with everybody, holding knives at school and stuff like that, drugs. So I just kept going back, being on PCP. I used to smoke PCP stuff, and they would just get us automatic. Oh, there's another one. Take him to jail. So every time we go to jail, we're getting more involved with the street gangs. So that's where the street gangs, you guys, are ran by the prisons and the jail. So if you don't know that, stay your butts away from jail, and you'll be all right. Once you go to jail, you're graduating. You're getting higher and higher. The more you get higher rank, you locked in. Now you with them now. Now you got tattoos. Now you're claiming. Now you're repping this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Little do you know, you're burying yourself.
Yeah, there's a big difference between county prison and going to jail. Like,
oh, right? Yeah.
And that's really when you do, like, you could say petty crimes, or you're not being sentenced. That's when you go to a county, what we call county out here. And,
yes.
You're mixed in with just, all types of people where they don't know where they're going to go yet. Some people are going right out, and others are getting held to go to jail, prison. And when was the first time that you actually went to prison and had to do, a lengthy, how old were you by that time? Because now you're out of county.
I went to prison my first time, probably, I think it would be around 1990.
Okay, so you're already in your 20s?
I was like around 25, 24.
Yeah, and it's another big thing too, that you didn't really go through juvenile and camps. Like a lot of people who end up in prison, they go through this feeding system that we have here, especially in California, where the schools kind of lead you to this, if you get in trouble, they have, these different steps, and then eventually you go to like camps, boot camps, and then if you can't be handled in the boot camps, you go to juvenile prison, and those are a lot of the people who tend to go to the big prison, and they have their whole life. So for you, you had a whole lifestyle that you were living on, this being very popular and hood famous, as we call it, right? And not really, super into the bad, what you call the bad stuff. and then you get into high school, and now you're kind of living on the streets, living with your homies, joining the gang, and then now you're going straight to prison. Now it's literally like you night and day, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember how you felt the first time that you had to actually say what you were and who you're gonna kick it with? Because you know,
Yeah, because you I'll never forget, every time I went to prison like 3-4 times, and they're all different prisons. You would think one's good enough, you're not gonna go no more, you know what I'm saying? But I had an addiction of doing drugs and being on the streets. I was used to the homies. I was stuck with hanging with these guys and doing the things they wanted to do. I got married and had kids, had a job. One day they call me. I'm driving by. They go, "Hey, is your car? That's your guys' car?" 6, 7 a.m. I'm going with my uniform to a job. Good job. Yeah, money. If you go right here, you can pull over real quick before you go to work. I'll be right there. Pull up. Got a nice new Cadillac. Money B's doing good. You know what I'm saying? Did prison time already. I'm cool now. Hold on, son. And I pull up. Like, what's up? These guys are partying. They're doing dope. I go, okay. I should have left already, but I didn't leave. I was like, I'll just hang out a couple more minutes. You want one B? I go, no, I'm cool. So you might as well. You're going to go back anyway, homie. So when a friend tells you that, a friend says you're going to go back anyway, that's not your friend. You shouldn't be there. Okay? I did the dope. I stayed there. I have a wife and kids. I did not go home for at least 2 weeks with no job.
wow.
Nothing.
That's how quick. That's how quick it happens. Like, because in reality, there's no therapy that is mandated for you to go through. There's no rehabilitation that's mandatory for you to go to. There's no way to really prepare you to give you the tools to say no and to give you the ability to get away from it. And that's how quick. That's what happens to a lot of our raza in our culture, is that people would think like one time in prison's enough, and if it's so horrible, why they keep going back? We keep going back to these places because there's no way for us to unlearn these things and to actually deal with the trauma that we grew up with. So you could have everything, because I've seen them multiple times, even in my own family, where everything's going right. They've been sober. They're starting to spend time with the family, the kids. They're doing things, and then that one night they go kick it with their homies again, and they see them, and then you won't see them. You'll get a phone call a week later that that so and so's locked up, and and then just restarts the whole process, and now the frustration comes back because now your family's mad, and and it just creates this big cycle of negative energy. So once again, you were kind of going into like how you felt the first time you stepped into prison, and you had to claim where you're from and the people you're gonna kick it with, because that's what happens, right? When you go into prison, not just county jail, when you go into prison, pretty much on the first day, you got to say.
They got a clipboard right there when you get off the bus. Brian Moreno, they're gonna ask you, which one are you? Say you're a white guy, they're gonna say Aryan Brotherhood, Norteño, Sureño, Africano, Blood, Crip. They got a whole list. So when they got to me and the homie, the little dude was in front of me. He was a new guy. He never been to prison before, but he was older. He knew what time it was, but he was getting ready to make the wrong choice. Oh, wow. And they go, Norteño, Sureño, what are you? We call him Shorty, right? And I'm behind him, and he wouldn't answer because this is your life now.
Yeah, and there's consequences behind that.
This simple little name we're going to call on us and say we're this is going to change for the rest of our lives. People don't understand the name. No, it ain't just a name. We have to ride with this. It's like a bondage. So you go in there, Shorty, just say it, man. And he looked back at me and goes, Norteño. It's scary, bro. It's scary. Yeah. I went next, Norteño, Sureño, Blood, Crip. I go, Norteño. And I even said it, Norteño. Because I had to pump myself up because I have fear, man. I'm scared of it. I don't know if I'm going to die or not. Yeah. People want to keep me in there they don't even know who I am, but they're going to want to kill me, man. Popping's not going to save me in there. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
It's like reality, man. I got in there, I said, Norteño. Walking around like I was a tough guy, started lifting weights, getting big and doing all these things. I was cool. Had a braided hair in the back coming out like a warrior.
Yeah.
All the gangs came at me and they wanted to fight all this stuff. It was hard. It was a struggle. Man. I didn't want to do that stuff.
And
but then,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, because when you make this decision and you put yourself in this category, which is not like you have a choice, it's really like these are the people that not like it's pretty much these are going to be the people that help protect you in a sense, but they're also going to be the people that put you in that kind of danger. But
They're going to get
certain
danger. Our mentality is they might get me. That's mandatory. People say, well, that's your gang. No. If you know the gangs, be prepared to get ready to get hit by them for who knows what.
closest to you, it's the ones closest to you. But there's a certain lifestyle that you have to live within the prison system once you are considered a norteño or a sureño, especially within the Chicano and the Latino community within prisons, which most of them are Mexican. Um, there's a certain program that you have to live by every day in there, right?
Yeah.
And that's really also what intensifies it, because when you pick that you're a norteño, it's like now it's mandatory. There's certain things that are mandatory and things that could make you spend the rest of your life in prison.
Yeah, you might not come home. You might not come home.
And I'm sure you've seen it, right? Like people who go into prison for something very tiny and they never see the light of day again.
They go in. I've seen dudes go in there, and because of the pure pressure, they got 8 months to do. They're going to go home 8 months. The other guys ain't going home. Well, check it out. You're going to be doing this, blah, blah, blah. Whoop-de-whoop. Okay. If you don't, you're going to get hit as well. So they go ahead and do it. And guess what? You just stabbed that dude for the homeboys. That guy you did it for, he's going home, so he didn't tell you. You're doing life now. You just killed somebody in here.
Yeah. So, if you think there isn't a prison within the prison, you haven't been to prison. And
yeah,
there's a prison within the prison, and that really keeps a lot of our people in there. And outside of just the way society is structured, especially for us to fail within the systemic racism and all that.
Place in the world, the biggest racism place in the world is out here, but in prison system, it's bad. You cannot be around certain people. I love everybody, man. Love every color in the book. I consider us all one. Mm-hmm. But when I'm in there, I try my best to talk to everybody. And people say, "Yo, B, you can't do that." I go, "I'm a man of God." I let it be known. They, "Oh, we got religious dudes in here." I go, "I'm not a religious man. I have a relationship with my God." I go, "All I'm saying is let me read my word. And if I can help you in the fight and anything, I will take them off and do what I can do for you. But other than that, I'm going to be a warrior. I still held my boundaries. I told them this is what I believe in, but I got you. I got you." Because you can't say you don't got you or you'll get got.
Yeah. And that's big. That takes a lot for you to say and to be able to do within there, because that just one hesitation could also end your life. Because that's not only do you have to worry about being locked up for the rest of your life, you have to be worried also about losing your life for making the wrong decision, saying the wrong thing, looking at someone the wrong way.
Oh yeah, and it could be in the book. Like I said, the question was, how did I feel when I got there? I was peeing in my pants almost. It was not a joke, because you're looking at almost like a castle. You go to San Quentin, that's like a castle. That's like a dark castle.
You were in San Quentin.
I went first to San Quentin. I was like, what is this? Crazy. But the crazy part is, all my homies were there from the Bay Area, from South. What's up, money? Because I've been doing time in county a lot. Yeah. So the more I accumulate time, I'm knowing all these homeboys. I'm getting to know everybody. Not only that, as a popper, everybody knew me already, bro. So when I got to prison, Money B, what's up, fool? You can do a move for us, stuff like, "Oh, fool, I ain't doing that in here." But yeah, they'd always hit me up about the popping game in prison a lot.
And was there, I'm sure, was there other like legendary poppers from your hood in your area that you were like?
What I was saying about the being in the prison, even though it's all about gangs and race and all that in there, I went in there and they knew who I was as a popper. Some mostly didn't, but the people from the city, my city, like, "Yo, that's Money B, he gets down." So of course they'd be like, "Yo, it's boring in here. Do some moves, every once in a while." I was like, "Nah, I don't do that in here." "All right, B, it's cool." "Yeah, I don't do that." So I would run across certain people, or would you get in certain areas of a prison to where nobody could see you, and it'd be like you waiting in a waiting room for something, right? To get you just got there in a reception and got this one dude sitting next to you, which is an Africano dude. And I met this one dude, right? He was from, I think he might have been from Watts. I think it was Watts. It was some Africano dude. The dude was bad, right? He we were talking, you know, like I said, I'm a people person. I'll talk to you. We'll get along right away because nobody's in there. We have time all day. So me and him are talking the reception. Like, yeah, where you from? From San Jose? Where you from? From Watts? Me? If you're telling me you're from a city in LA or something, remember, I'm a popper. Yeah, I'm going to hit you up popping. The homies ain't here right now, so I'm going to hit this dude. I was like, well, Watts, huh? You get down, homie? Yeah, you know I get down. Money B, what's up? You get down? Like, I get down. He goes, what's up? Like, man, I can't do that here. He goes, oh, man. Like, what about you? And he goes, wow. I was like, oh. When he moved his, he had long fingers. So he went like, he would creep. Bah, he would just hold it. Bah. And that's all he would do. And it would just lift me up. Because, you know, I'm in prison. So I'm like, yo, man, so cool to see that. He would show me some beats. So I show him a little boom, boom, or something ticking. And he flipped out. He goes, yo, man, I never seen a Mexican pop like that. Yeah. I go, really? I go, yeah, he tripped out. So I go to prison again 4 or 5 years later to another prison. And I get on the yard and some other guy just went to the hole and came back. He goes, hey, your name's Money B? Black dude, Africano. I go, yeah, what's up, bro? And he goes, you pop? And I looked around, I'm like, why you ask that? Because your last name says Moreno on the back. I have my shirt on. It says Moreno. I go, yeah. I go, he goes, and I went to the hole over there. I was with the other homie over there, Crip dude from Watts or somewhere. And he said his name. I think his name, I forget his name, was Anthony or, anyways, he said his name. I go, Anth? I go, I know that dude. Like, what do you mean you've seen him? He goes, he's in the hole over there. And I told him there's a SA dude over here with Moreno on his back because he was there with me and the guy left so the hole came back. He goes, but I seen him mess around one day on the yard. I had my headphones on. I was like, bah, right? But I was working out. I go, you saw that? And he goes, and I told this dude, hey, there's a Mexican SA dude. He gets down over there. I just seen him do a little move. He goes, and I told him, he goes, does it say Moreno on his back? Do they call him Money B? And remember, I did time with this guy 2 years ago. And he goes, oh, he goes, are you Money B? I go, man, my boy's over there. He goes, he's in the hole right now. He'll be coming over. Months later, he came in with his bag. What's up, Money B? Bah, bah. I'm like, ah. So I started meeting people from different cities in prison.
That's super.
And so after that, he left and another dude came from South Central. Okay. And like I said, I don't pop there, but we had to battle in the prison. We got one battle in. This was crazy. Yeah, it was on a level 1 yard. So it was nothing major. It wasn't a 4 yard, not like level 1 yard.
And different yards, there's different levels of yards in prison, and due to
your number,
your risk, like of your risk within the prison, like if you're super dangerous,
the crime you commit will give you a high number. Okay, so I was already out of prison for like a year or two. I was doing good, but I went back, so my points went down. So they put me in a level 1, which is awesome. That's like a camp. So I go out there. We got our blues still on, prison blues. We got all that stuff. And I'm on the yard working out. And I had my headphones on. I went boom, boom, did a move. And the Crips are walking by, right? This dude named Cookie. He walks by and he goes, Money B, because they know we all play basketball. We've been there like Money B, did you just get down? I go, oh, shoot. There's like 6 of them. I put my headphones like I didn't hear, and I started doing my pull-ups. He goes, Money B, you just got off. I know you get off. Boy, I just seen you. You don't trip, bro, because I didn't want to make a big thing.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, you know what? Go get what's his name? It's about to be on. I go, no. They were making a big thing and people were coming around. It was getting loud.
Damn.
They were getting like, no, fuck that. Whoa, what's up, cuz? They were getting loud. You know how they do it. They're getting loud.
Yeah.
And I no. Bring that down because the Norteños are going to think something's cracking. Sureños, they all might think something's going on. So I go, oh.
This is a normal interaction. You're not.
yeah, you can't do what he was doing. But remember, he's not in my gang. So they feel, oh, we don't want to be. He's cool.
Different rules.
I go, no. I'm like, yo, relax. Because he was pumping. And he picked me up like this. Money B, you the shit. Let me go get my homie. I go, put me down. All the gang comes now. Here comes everybody. What's up, bro? Everything cool? What's going on? A gang of dudes. Yeah. I'm like, oh. So I go, yo, man.
This is in a 1 yard, too. So I'm sure it's like, wait a minute.
Yo, it still pops off in there. It's still up there. They still get stabbed and shit in there. So this dude goes, hey, B, the main dude goes, hey, what's going on? Everything cool? I go, yeah, man. I go, they see me do a little wave, man. I go, sorry about that, homie. He goes, what do you mean? I go, wait, like popping? I go, yeah. He goes, you get down? I go, I used to get down. And I go, they want to do like a battle, but we ain't going to do it. I already told him the homies don't play that. He goes, are you good at it? Remember, these North are from another part of not San Jose, but like Frisco, Sacramento. So they don't know me. And then one dude goes, hey, that's Money B. He's dope, homie. He told the homeboy, he goes, is he? He goes, B, they say you're good at this. I go, I'm okay. And he goes, because I didn't want to do it in prison, right? And he goes, and all the Crips came. Now we have big crowds. And they go, hey, let's do one-on-one, homie. Let's do one round. We got the radio and everything. The homeboys go, nah, homie, we don't play that, right? The homie goes, come here. He goes, are you good? Can you really battle this guy, right? I go, well, he wants me to battle, right? I go, yeah, I'm good. I go, what are you trying? Do you want me to do this? He goes, can you beat him? Can you make us shine? I go, I can make us shine, brother, no problem, but it's up to you. Give me the green light. And he goes, do it. I go, it's all good. He goes, it's all good, homie. I go, all right. We went and told the CEO. The CEO goes, no fight. I go, no fighting. He goes, one round, and that's it. So we opened up. The dude from South Central went out, bah, bah, did some kind of cool little waves and stuff. Yeah. They started going, oh my God, he's killing you, cuz. He's killing you.
Yeah, cuz.
That's going crazy. Oh my God. And everyone's like, okay, everyone's having a big smile. Like, okay. Your turn. Now give me your headphones. My turn. Bah, bah. I started tutting, waving, dropping it down, bah, sideways on the side. They went nuts. They picked me up. They go, no. The Crips picked me up. Well, this is the homie right here, Money B, boy. You a fool. They loved it, bro. They came and sat in there like, yo, where did you learn this from?
Yeah. Damn.
That was awesome, bro.
That day, like I'm sure it was like the talk of the yard for like weeks and stuff. And would you say this was already towards the end of your you could say your prison career, or
no?
This was like, man.
I went to another one was in San Quentin, and a couple. Like I said, I'm a people person. I talk to everybody. I try to be, even though I'm in the gang, I still try to. I show love to people.
Yeah.
I stay as me, and if gang shit comes up, I'll man up for that. Other than that, I'm just gonna be me, man. So the guards would be with me, like, oh, Money B's Ron Moreno, he's a cool dude. So I started getting to know the guard because they gave me jobs in the kitchen, So I got a job, and they see me pop. Okay. So a little Filipino dude from Vallejo, he's a guard named Santos. He goes, hey, bro, you get off? So, yeah, I get off, little Santos. Like, what do you know about popping? He goes, man, my boys used to get down and pop back in the day. So we started reminiscing. I knew all his people. I go, yeah, I know them. He goes, what can you do? And I went, pop, because nobody was there. And he goes, man, you're dope, Money B. I like that, fool. Here, give me extra food and all that, right? So one day, somebody told this other dude on the other side of the wall, there's a window that's only this big. And I'm cleaning the table, and somebody on the other side of the wall in San Quentin knocked, boom, boom, boom. He kept knocking to get my attention. I think the CO told him, Money B gets down, because that guy got down. I didn't know him yet. So I'm like, and the dude goes, African dude goes, hey, bro, that dude wants you in the window, in the door over there. And I turn around, I have my apron on. I'm cleaning up. I go, me? And the Africano dude's in the little window. Yeah, little curl, Jerry curl. He goes, what's up? He goes, you get down? I'm far away. And I go, Poppy? And he goes, you get down? What's up? I'm like, is he calling me? I go, what's up, man? I got my apron on. I can't really. There's a door between us. I go, you get down? And he went like this. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, God, ridiculous, bro. I never nobody hit like this guy. Bang. So once I saw that, I walked over. I go, Santo, I told the cop, can I holler at this dude? He wants to go around. And he got all excited. He's all open the door for you guys. He goes, but don't go in there. I go, yeah, that's fine. He opened the door. I have my apron on. I go, go ahead, homie. And he goes, bah, bah, bah. His face is like, bah, bah. He was serious, bro. He was serious. Because I heard you get out. What's up? And I go, man. So I started getting down. Bah, bah. He goes, damn, boy. They would always trip out because I was Mexican. They always, because they would profile me and say, oh, that guy, you dance? We didn't know you were. I go, yeah, the tattoo guy. That's me. I get down, bro.
Level too, man. And especially to get like a Mexican, a Chicano, whether they're a South Sider or North Sider, to have that type of interaction.
There's a lot of homeboys, Sudanos popping in there.
No, and that's the thing, is a lot of our people within the popping dance culture, a lot of them ended up in prison, and a lot of great dancers who.
Like, for instance, now that we're on that subject, when you guys ask Bryce like about how the OGs will say, well, strutting, we didn't hear popping. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all, because my homeboy Derek Little, who's from the South Side Strutters, San Jose, California, he went to the prison too. Guess who his cellie was? The original CEO of Demons of the Mind, rest in peace, Larry McDonald. Larry McDonald called me before he died. Money B, I used to kick with Playboy Rob. We used to pop and all that. All about popping. He made Demons of the Mind. He knew all about popping. There was popping in Frisco in the late 70s. They know all about it. So what I'm saying is Derek Little would show him strutting and popping. Yeah. And this was back in the day. And he was like, yo, man, you San Jose poppers are ridiculous, man. You guys. So we all run into each other in there is what I'm saying. They were sellies. And they kicked it big. They got mad love for each other.
Yeah. No, that's where a lot of connections too would happen. And that's how the streets have to. A lot of people don't realize it, but the politics in prison bleed out to the streets, right? And the conversations and you know,
yes,
even connection. There's people that you connect with, and you end up out on the streets, and then you see each other, and then you know what I'm saying. That's like to that point, right? Like where for sure, people, if they're sellies, they're talking, you know.
For me, I would tell you this: prison rules don't change, okay? So I know you guys aren't prison people. This is a popping community, but I'm giving you a little tip on something. When you hear somebody out here on the street and you think they're gang members, that we run this, we'll do this and that. The ones who run those prisons and the streets are the guys from the prisons that are the biggest guys that have all the dope and all that. And if you can't understand who those people are, you better go do some homework. You better go do homework, because there's certain individuals in there that run the streets because they run the prison. Yeah. So they get to the streets. So once you're doing crimes out here and you're a gang member, you want to be a drug dealer on the street, remember there's someone to answer to once you get inside prison. Once you get in there, you are not that regular dude, that drug dealer out here.
Because you have to pay on your block, whatever you might think you are.
You're going to be paying tithes and dues now. If you're not now, they're gonna find you. Yeah. They want to. This is real. This is real. So stay away from the drugs and all that crap.
Yeah. And how many years would you say that? How many? So you know, from already being a high school age all the way through most of like a lot of your adulthood, how many years would you say that you spent? You know, in prisons or like kind of in the street life? I feel like it's been a long
county and prison and all that. I would say like a good 5 years, man. All that
of your life, just going.
Yeah, I was going constantly, like every other weekend, bro. So from 18, I just kept going. And 19, 20, 21, 22, all county. Just kept doing county. Finally graduated. I'm going to prison now. Didn't want to go there. I did want to go there because you know, we have that lie from our own people. Oh man, we got to get to prison. We're going to be this. We're going to be soldiers. Yeah. What about having a degree? What about, you know, nobody was telling us mostly we got to, and you know what? It's my own fault because we were chose to look at people with tattoos in our life. Like, yo, we got to be like that big homie. We got to be, it looks so cool with the tattoos, the muscles. I followed that, man. I followed that.
But it's also because these are the people that are available to us. You know, it's not like you got doctors and lawyers walking around you being like, hey, how's your day today? You know, these are the people who show us love. These are the people who show us compassion, that actually take the time out of their day to say, hey, how you doing? Are you hungry? Hey, you got some clothes? Exactly. You know, so that's who you admire. You're like, I want to be like him, not the person who's telling me I'm a piece of shit, not the person who's telling me I'm never going to graduate, not the person who's telling me I'm not going to work. You know, like these are the people who encourage you. And
they're the ones that give you the love. You're right, because the other ones would put you down and say, because I remember till today, I got family members that would come around, hey, man, what are you doing? Are you being a cholo or something? Are you a cholo? You be one of these guys? What's wrong with you, man? Do you know how to walk right? That's humiliating to say those things. That's
like, I'm never gonna be like him. You're like, I'm never gonna be like that person.
Thank you.
That resentment happens, you know, because that's how I was like especially when I lost my dad, and you know, it just became like now I wanted to be what he was when he was a gangbanger and all his homies, because I just remember all the love and all the happy times, right? Yeah. And then now that I'm in school, kind of having to fend for myself and being told by teachers I'm a piece of shit, pretty much.
Yeah.
Especially in the LA County, LAUSD school district, like at the time I was going to school, like teachers got away with murder. So you know, they would treat us like shit. And
Yeah.
everything that had to do with that, I didn't want to be. And then I started looking at my uncles, and I'm like, man,
Yep.
like, I want to like have that freedom or that sense of pride, and that's really where that Chicanoism, that that brotherhood, sisterhood that we have comes in place, right? And we start wanting, like you said, you look up to that big homie, and then you hear about prison, and you think that that's what makes him a good person, or that's what makes him the person that you
Yeah.
admire. And then you go, and then you realize, like, holy shit, this isn't what that is.
It's not what they said. It's not at all, man. My last term was in Pelican Bay, and when I went there, and I seen the doors open up, I said, I don't want to be here. This is crazy. And I didn't even get in yet. It was just the doors opening up.
Were you still
And
in
the,
your 20s?
huh?
This last term in Pelican Bay, were you still in your 20s?
Um,
Or were you already like 30?
Might have been 30s maybe,
Yeah.
because 90, I was around 24, 25, and 90 around those years, 90, 91, 92. Went back around 94, 95, got out. Went back again around 99, 98.
Okay.
So yeah, I was close to 30 probably around there.
And that was your last term. What do you remember? What year? What year it was?
I think
Got out.
I might have paroled in 91. Oh no, I mean 99
In
or
99.
2000.
And
Because I
then
remember getting out there popping and all that. My brother J Rock was telling me about the popping. Everyone's getting down, stuff like that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and what was really the deciding factor for you to change your life in that way? Like because as you know, like I'm sure there's plenty of homies your age who are still in there, still up to
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
So like, what was really that turning point?
Well, people think you got to go to a program and all that. Programs are good for you because they give you the backbone and the people.
Structure.
Yes, they give you enough people to support the support, let's say. And you do need support when you're trying to beat an addiction or fight an old way of living. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have support, you gotta have encouragement, you gotta have people, lift you up, not down you. So programs, I had to do programs mandatory because I was doing crime. So every time I go to jail, you're going to a program. You got busted with drugs, you're going to a program. You're on drugs, you're going to a program. Every individual does not want to change when they go to the program because their mindset on getting dope when they get out of that
Yeah,
program.
you're forced. It's because you're forced as well. It's like you have to go.
So me having children and that being all split up and divided now by myself, that hurt me. I wanted these kids. I wanted these daughters of mine. I wanted to be something better, but something kept telling me, you're not going to do. Well, actually, not just something, but people were telling me,
Yeah.
you ain't going to make it. You're not, you lost it already. You're this, you're that. And that was just stayed in my head. So I finally started going to church and all. I started going, my mom's a pastor. I started finally going a little bit here and there. But you know what? I'm going to go to these programs. I'm going to tell myself I can love myself, because God says to love yourself before you can love a wife or anybody. Don't love yourself, be conceited. Love yourself, care about yourself, manicure yourself, clean yourself up, take care of this temple, this body. So I started doing that. And when my kids showed me love, I was like, wow, these kids love me. I guess I am worth something. So I started trying my best. I did the programs and I started beating the programs, right? Because I wanted to change. I wanted to, and I started saying, wow, this does work when you talk about what you did and you claim it. You know what I'm saying? You got to claim what you did. Yeah, people say, well, hey, you're a bad alcoholic. You got to stop drinking. Don't call me that, brother. You get offended. There's a problem there, brother. If you drink, admit to it and try and figure it out later. Because if you can't admit to what you have a problem with, you have a problem.
Yep.
So I started admitting and finding out and claiming what I knew I had a problem with and going head on with it, and I beat it.
So when you took accountability, when you really took accountability for everything, because that's super hard to do, because, it's not like people go to prison or, have an addiction and it's something that you walk around fucking happy about, that you show off about, it is something that you're constantly putting yourself down about. But when you're able to, like you said, take that accountability, that's the first step to heal, right?
Got prison programs as well. People say, well, there's no program. There's programs in prison because it's all about money, okay? Yeah. They're getting paid as well to try and teach you when they really ain't trying to teach you or help you. But there is program. You can't finish a program in there knowing you're part of a gang. Yeah. You're in a man gang now. So how do you finish a program knowing these guys are in your head still? Hey, we're going to do this. Why am I even doing this then? You know what I'm saying? So it's contradicting everything. So it's like, yo, until you get home and you're not in jails and stuff, get into a program. Put yourself around people that are going to support you and lift you up, not around the homies, because they're not going to support you and lift you up. You have to be with the people that are going to build you and lift you. So after I got out, I started using the programs.
And you kind of really started stop surrounding yourself around that negative influence. And what would you today, as much ready? You're like what, 52, 53, Money B?
52.
52. What would you tell your 17, 18-year-old self, if you can, like just some advice that you would give yourself?
Oh man, that's a good one right there, man. Money B at 17. I would say, yo, man, slow it down. It's a future for you. You just don't see it. Have faith.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little emotional. People don't understand, bro. Sorry about that, man.
Don't worry, brother. Shit, that's what this is for, man. For us to heal and talk. Because
it was a struggle, man. But I would tell that young man, slow it down. Take advantage of what you're good at. So if you dancers are good at what you do, take advantage of it.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. I didn't take advantage of it because I had peer pressure of other things I had to deal with in life. And other things, because they made me more tougher and masculine to get through the hard parts in life. That's what I thought. So I figured I had tough to get through these. So I went with the tough guys. That's it.
Yeah, and it just now, we're, and that's like really the thing is we make these decisions because we think that's what we have to do,
Mm-hmm.
There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. It's like, this is what I have to do to survive. And if I don't, I'm going to.
Exactly it, man. This is all I got right here. So I'm going to roll with this right now. My parents are over here, or I got married and that didn't work. This person left me and took the kids from me, said, I'm this. Where do I go now?
Those labels will define
nothing.
Yeah. And that's really...
I had a teacher, a great teacher. He was a cool art teacher, old black man. Awesome dude, man. He was so cool. Let everybody go in there and pop and do all the dancing in there at lunchtime. So we had a meeting with my guardian, my uncle, and he took me in there. He goes, hey, we're going to have a meeting because you're working too good. All right. My uncle goes with me in there. My uncle's a bar owner, so he really don't care about it. He's just going because he's a cool guy. Oh, yeah, I'm going to take you over there and do this damage. So we go in there. He goes, oh, we have good grades. I go, they're not good. Teacher goes, you know what? The thing about Brian, his work is not that good in his schoolwork. He goes, but his dance is really good.
Yeah.
Everybody follows him here. The whole school follows him. And when it's time to dance, I open this room up, they're all around him. He goes, but the bad part is, he looked at me, he goes, this dance will get you nowhere. You will not make it in this world just dancing. Okay, Brian? So you better get something straight. I said, okay. I'll never forget that guy. Because guess what? I went to China. I went to Taiwan. I went to Singapore. I went to Italy. You name it, man. I'm going. And I don't choose to go to these places. Things happen, man, and people from school, people from the old neighborhoods actually seen videos of mine and we're like, yo, we're proud of this dude, man. I was like, yo, what's up? Why is everybody all tripping? Because you weren't supposed to make it and you did it. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
And look at and what do you do as a youngster when you're told that the only thing that you feel that you're good at is gonna lead you nowhere, and it really puts you, you feel lost, you feel lost.
He shot me down.
Yeah, it does, because now literally it's belittling. It's like all this thing that you take time to practice at, that you understand, all this stuff, it's worthless. And the stuff that you don't understand and that's hard for you, that's what you need to know. And it's like, okay, and you don't have that support system at home, and most of us come from a broken home, and like that's when, back to like, you've seen the big homie that looks at you when you're down and goes, hey, what's up, fool? And you're like, oh shit, and they also don't know how to really be a mentor, like in a way that you know, that
Not
we
that
know
yet.
now, but they're doing their best, and that's what the position that they're taking, the big homies, right? Most of them.
Yeah,
There is some with very evil intentions, right? But there is a lot of them who have these big hearts, you know, and the way they were taught is to, you know, be super masculine, be tough, you know, don't take no
yeah,
shit. And it's because of that hurt, and it's because of that trauma, that being fucking told by a teacher that you even probably thought was dope and cool, that be like, you know what, you're not you're not going nowhere. You know, you believe it. You believe it,
yeah,
and it leads us down that road. And but yeah, so it's just amazing to see all this, right? All this is happening, and then you know, 99, 2000, you decide to really change your life, and that's when
yeah,
we're gonna get into this other chapter, right? This is another chapter of you. And that's where I think today we'll leave off with this, and then the next time we get on, we're
yeah.
gonna start the chapter of when, you know, 99, 2000.
Sounds good. Yeah, there's a lot of it involved. You know, I never did this before with nobody, and you
Yeah.
know, I have no problem doing with you because I love you, man. You're a good dude. A lot of you dancers are great people, man. And for me to be where I am today and to know youngsters like you, it puts a smile on my heart. You know, it makes me feel good to know, just to know that you guys respect the dance, respect the people that do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not that person that said, "Oh man, what about me?" It ain't really. It never was about me. I never thought of it was about me. I just did the dance. I just did what I was good at. You know what I'm saying? I just, whatever I have to do to be there, I'll be there, and I'll do what I got to do. Other than that, I go home and go to sleep. There's no, whoo, what did I do that day? Nah.
You got those kids.
Yeah,
It's what
that's why
those
I say,
kids wanted to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
But I appreciate your time, when you be in. Yeah, we're gonna set up that next one so we could, you know, talk about this newer chapter. Just needed
Yeah,
all this history.
it continues. And like I said, Playboys goes on for, and Money B have a big journey. There was a big journey involved in this, and it still goes on. So yeah, we'll go over some more things.
Let's get it.